Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to our Business Analytics FAQ live event. So I'm here with Dennis Dennehy, the Program Director, and also a number of students who are currently on the course who are going to give you some of their insights. We're going to be joined later by Pamela from the Careers Office, who's going to give you some really interesting information about your future career prospects as well. So just to start off, I'd like to congratulate those of you who are holding offers. It's a huge achievement. This is a very competitive course, and of course, NUI Galway is ranked in the top 1% of universities worldwide. So you should be very proud of yourselves. So just to kick off, Dennis, would you give us a little bit of an introduction to business analytics?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Congratulations on getting your offers. As Eileen said, it's been very competitive this year. We've had 680 applications for this program, so you've done very well. We're looking forward to meeting you also in August, September. I suppose my role as program director is to ensure that you have a very positive student learning experience while you're here, but also get the most out of the program. So the students today will actually talk about how they got best value from the program. So it's not just about learning in the lecture room, it's about getting involved in clubs, societies, and so on. I suppose we found over the last 3 years with this program that students find a jump from coming from work into a full-time master's program, or coming from an undergraduate degree to a full-time master's, a big jump. To give you an idea of this big jump in terms of workload, we have a credit system in Europe. So for a master's, to be awarded a master's, it needs to have 90 credits of work. Work means lectures and continuous assessments and so on. Within this 90 credits for your master's in 1 year, you'll have 30 credits for your term 1 lectures and tutorials, and in term 2 you'll have another 30 credits of lectures, and then your capstone project or the group project will be another 30 credits. So it is a lot of work. For example, undergraduate students will do 60 credits, so they're actually doubling, or well, they're increasing the workload by 50%. The timetables at the moment from this year are actually up on the website. They will change depending on room size and so on, but also sometimes we change modules depending on the demand, needs for our industry and so on. So the timetables that are up on Blackboard at the moment or on the website are provisional based on this year. But also all the course outlines are actually on the website. So every course outline that you have an option of doing or is a core subject is available on the website right now for you to actually get familiar with, looking at the learning outcomes for each program, types of assessment, so group work, individual work, presentations, and so on.
Yeah, so the website really is a fantastic resource for anyone who has some questions after the Hangout, or if you want to write your comments during this, we'll answer as many questions as we can throughout the process of this broadcast. So I'd just like to have our students introduce themselves, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Jayashree, and I'm from the southern part of India. So I have 2 years of work experience with Amazon. I actually don't know programming that much, but here it's been pretty well. And it's been a year. 2 semesters has gone, and we are doing our projects, and it's really a good experience. And I would highly recommend it. And congratulations for you guys on getting your offers.
Yeah. So my story is completely different from Jayashree's. Well, she was from business background. I was from a technical background. I had worked 2 years in a consultancy company, and coming to NUIG, I had learned to get my leadership skills by being an international student ambassador as well as a class representative. So it was a nice, pleasant change and skills in which I wanted to learn. So I'm sure coming to NUI Galway, you will have the opportunity to upskill in the path that you want. So it is up to you all to decide whether you want to upskill in business field or in the technical field. So that is one thing that I feel is very important. There's a place for everyone, and it is up to you to decide which path you want to go in.
Excellent. So we have a few questions that were submitted in advance of the broadcast. So we'll start out with those, and then as questions come in, we'll answer them as well. So we'll start with just sort of general course questions. So I suppose, Dennis, I'll have you start off here with just what are some of the different types of modules that are covered in this course?
Okay, so our courses are a combination of business subjects, but also technical subjects. The reason we do this is because we know from industry and the engagement we have that they're looking for graduates, not just with strong technical skills, like for instance, he comes from a very technical background, but also that you can actually engage with business people to understand what the analytics is telling them and how to align this with the strategy of the company, or also maybe to implement analytic capabilities within the organization. So over top of information system strategy and innovation, strategic management. So there are some of the electives that we offer as well. We teach R programming, C++, statistical techniques, and so on. So there's a good variety of modules that covers, I suppose, for all the needs of the different students that we're working with.
I would like to add that we have also guest speakers. We had Bill Schmazo, the CTO of Hitachi, and several good speakers from AIB, the GADA, which is in India we call the police station. So yeah, so we have different speakers who give us industry level experience, and that is a good exposure to have.
Adding to what Dennis told, I felt that it was a holistic program. Like for a business analyst or a data scientist, he has to do the data mining work. He has to know how to work with the data, how to extract the data, how to extract insight from the data. And then it covers everything, the modules, it covers from the start to the end, which you will be there doing in the company.
Yeah, excellent. And also just to add to that, if you want to see an example of a guest lecture, there's a video with Bill Schmarzo actually on the course page, and he's a really engaging speaker, so I'd recommend that you definitely check that out. So the next question that we have here is, how many hours are there per week, and are there classes every day, Monday through Friday? So somebody's a little bit concerned about their weekend, I think.
I would say that usually the classes start at 9, and you have 2 hours of class every day. So you have from Monday to Friday, and you have your weekdays off. So your weekday starts early. It's like Saturday. Friday, usually by 12 you're free, and you have time to rest till Monday 9 a.m. But that being said, yeah, you'll be given assignments, so you might be expected to work on that. It's generally 2 hours, so you'll be done by 12 every day, and then you're expected to go about 10 to 14 hours per week.
Yeah, and what are the assignments like? Can you give me some examples?
They go across different domains. So mainly they are across statistics, analytics, and programming. So the modules are in such a way that you have to work across different domains. So sometimes you'll be expected to do more assignments on statistics, whereas the other week you have to do on programming.
Okay. Yeah. And some assignments we have individual assignments, some are group assignments. So we get a chance to work with other people in the class. And individual assignments, we can upskill our knowledge.
Yeah.
It's a combination of things.
It's probably a good way to get to know your classmates as well.
Oh yeah.
It's really important. As international students, we want to mingle with the people here, and it's a good chance.
Yeah.
Usually after 12, we all sit together and try to do the assignments. It's a good bonding experience.
What did you think was the most challenging module?
For me, I said technical background. So each one finds a different challenge. For me, it was going into the business environment, understanding the business, getting the business acumen. So my first class was with a lecturer known as Willie Golding. You all will be soon being acquainted with him. Best of luck. He starts grilling you on concepts like the net growth, business model, profit and loss. So completely business. So people who are thinking like, okay, I'm going to brush up on my technical skills, I don't need to concentrate on business, they're in for a big shock. You need to get into both the concepts, but you have to be in the right amount, at least in the basic level.
For me, it was the programming part because I didn't have experience in the programming part. But little by little, the way they split the workload, it is like you start from the basic. So you cope up with the thing, and end of the day, end of the course, you have got knowledge about the whole thing. So we had R, we had Java, C#, and it was pretty easy for me. With each assignment, it got better, and I know I'm good at the programming thing now.
Actually, that's a perfect segue into another question we have, which are, what are the programming languages that we would be learning, and are they being taught from day one, or should they do some preparation beforehand?
I would say it's good to brush up our skills, but then professors here, they are really helpful, and each and every time the slides they give us, the assignment, the coursework, everything is from the basics. So we don't need to know much about the programming. It's good to know actually, but then we can cope up. That's not a problem at all. It was not at all a problem. I found it was very easy getting to know things.
That's great to hear.
Adding to Jayashrie's point, yeah, the lectures are very well qualified to teach the subjects, and they're very friendly, very approachable. So in terms of quantifying it, you have four basic programming languages. You have SQL, R, C#, and Java. So these four topics will be covering, and you are covering C# and Java in terms of building applications, whereas R and SQL in terms of analytics. So to round it up, these four languages.
Can I just add, we offer a lot of support as well. So in the timetable, you'll just see the lecture hours, okay? In addition to these hours, there are tutorials for each of the program languages, and they're in small groups. So we have tutors working with you in small groups of maybe 15, 20 students.
Yeah.
These tutorials can happen morning time, evening time, and so on. We also have a wide variety of students coming through from business backgrounds, so they have no programming experience whatsoever. So some of the Irish students here, for example, are very strong in business, but not so strong maybe in technical. But they still come through the program, they learn the skills, and also because it's a very multicultural environment, people kind of work in groups too, and they build off each other's strengths too. So nobody's left alone. And if you do have requirements for extra support, you just call to us. We have an open door policy. Knock on my door anytime, drop me an email, or any of the teaching staff. We're there to support you as well.
Yeah, excellent. I think that's one of the real strengths of the school is the fact that there's so much focus on the student experience and ensuring that every student learns as much as they possibly can. Yeah. So another question that we have here is, what shall we expect on our first day? What was the first day like for you guys?
First day, we actually had Billy Gold's class, and it was mind-blowing. He just goes there, he takes up the class. You'll listen to him just like that. You don't need to concentrate or something. Just push yourself. You'll just listen to him. He'll take the class so good, and we enjoyed the first class. It was business from the day one. We got into the class and we had assignments, I guess. Even the first week we had assignments, and it was business from day one.
Yeah, straight into it.
But we had 1 week of this inauguration things and festivals planned for the students by the college.
Oh, the orientation
week. The orientation week,
yeah.
It was good. It was fun. We had a lot of functions, like the things in Salt. We had a lot of things where we could meet other people, make friends, and it was good.
Yeah, excellent. And SALT is the college bar and social area, just for anyone who's wondering.
Adding to that, while she was enjoying the business classes, as I was saying, I was suffering. So, as I said, like the first class after Willie Golden, I went asked, how can I improve on those skills? So he advised me to read a lot of journals. So you can start preparing, understand your weakness from the first week, and you get a lot more time to prepare for the coming weeks. I think that is very important. I think Dennis might know more about it because people were approaching him on these topics as well.
Yeah, I suppose we're very conscious that teaching and learning and assessments means different things to different people, because we have students come from the US, India, Europe, and the UK, and their experience of learning and assessment is very different. So part of that orientation week, we actually have a session with just the analytics students too, and we talk through the whole course, the learning outcomes, the types of assessments that are used. We work very closely then with the class representatives who kind of help us to manage the workload throughout. So we try to avoid any assignments clashing all in one day, for example. So we build that relationship with you from the very outset of the program. We try to get to know all of you as best we can, but we also hope that you get to know each other even better than we know you.
Yeah, excellent. So one more question that we have here is, what is the relevance of information system strategy and innovation, as well as information system security and ethics course in the business analytics syllabus? So maybe Dennis, would you like to take that?
So what's the relevance of them? Okay, so we had a guest speaker in last term, term one, Gurchan Singh. He's head of the Irish Police Analysis Unit. His background was in sociology. His PhD was in sociology. He worked in Scotland Yard for a number of years. Then he moved over to Ireland to set up the analytics unit for the Irish Police in 2008. So when he came talking to the class, he said, I'm not going to talk about the technology, I'm going to talk about strategy. If you don't know what strategy means, you cannot do that type of job. You know, how do you tell a detective who's very good at his job for the last 30 years that this new technology called analytics will make you a better detective? So you need to understand the environment that people work. The context for a multinational will be very different than a public sector organization, for an SME or small to medium-sized enterprise and so on. So understanding how organizations operate, not just at the strategic level, but also at the operational level, and how these align is very important. This is why we have this module on AI strategy and innovation. In terms of ethics, well, we know year after year, there's always a global scandal. And people say, oh, how did this happen? Well, what we want to ensure is that our students make a positive contribution to society and the industry they work in. You've heard of different scandals in Ireland, in Europe, around the world. And some people say, look, ignorance is bliss. But once we teach you about ethics and the responsibilities that you have as a data analyst, you have a new awareness, and you have to carry that with you through your whole profession.
So we have one question that's just come in from the viewers. It is, how will the program work with 135 students? Now, as we know, this program is hugely popular and has grown a lot this year. So Dennis, I'll give you that one as well.
We had the same question last year when we had a class of 36 students, and that increased to 57 students. What we're doing this year, we've brought in some new staff. We're actually advertised. We have new jobs starting in the department at the moment. So we're growing the department. We've also brought in additional teaching assistants throughout the year. So we have a plan in place. But essentially, that student experience will remain. So for us, it's very important that you have that positive experience, whether it's a class of 10 or 110.
Yeah, excellent. And again, the open door policy really does come into play there. You're going to engage with your lecturers regardless of how many students there are in the classroom. You will still have that excellent one-on-one relationship with them. So we just have a couple of questions about SAP or SAP certification.
Yeah.
So can you give us some more information about the SAP certification program?
Okay, so the SAP module is 10 credits. So normally a lecture module would be 5 credits. So this is a lot of weight, you know. The cost is built into the program, so there's no additional cost to you for this accreditation. The examination itself is set by SAP in Germany, but we have a very close relationship with them. However, the difference between this year and next year is that we've now moved over, we're moving over from SAP Business Warehouse to SAP HANA. That's based on the feedback from students this year, but also from our engagement in the industry. So this is a lot more relevant to your profession. So this module is in place. We have everything set up. Once you join the program and are registered, we send on your details to SAP. We've also got feedback from students this year about some extra support, how we can make it more interactive for students. Because at the moment, it's a very self-directed module, so there's no formal lectures. But this next year coming, we'll have SAP coming in to do a 3-hour workshop with you at the beginning, kind of explain the systems that they use and so on.
Yeah. Just to bring more relevance, because coming from India, I was confused about the ECTs. So 10 ECTs is means were 2 subjects, because usually average weightage of a subject is 5 ECT. So your major project is 20 ECT. That means it is 4 times the work. Yeah, hope that helps.
Yeah, and it is self-paced. We did it as self-paced thing. We had time during the Christmas holidays, so that time we completed most of the things. And it's good that the college covers the cost, because if we have to do it by ourselves, it is going to cost a lot. And we have support too, so that's good. Yeah, to be a part of the curriculum, it's good.
Excellent. Actually, we have another question about the grading system, which you touched on earlier. So this question is, the grading in India is different from one in Ireland. How are the credits and grades assigned? Anyone jump in there?
Okay, I'll start it off. So the grading system here, so suppose you get from 50 to 60%, it is known as 2-1. From 60 to 70, it is, 2-2. From 60 to 70, it is 2-1, and above 70% is 1-1. So the 1-1 is the highest you can achieve. Anything above 70 is considered as 1-1. And the other question was in terms of subjects. So totally we have 90 credits. Each semester we have 30 credits. So the first semester we have a combination of 6 subjects that is each worth 5 ECTs, and it contributes to 30 ECTs. Similarly, for the second, we have 40 ECTs because we have included SAP in the second semester. So that way we are free for the last 1 month where we do a major project, and that's worth 20 ECTs.
Yeah, we have, and we had 5 written exams and 1 of continuous assessment. The statistical techniques SPSS, we had a continuous assessment. That is actually different from what we do in India. In India, we don't have the continuous assessment. Here we have continuous assessment, which is also like self-paced, and it is pretty easy. We can complete it in time. We have time to do it also, so that won't be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we build in the continuous assessment for each module. So usually it would be maybe 60% for the exam and 40% continuous assessment. But within that 40% assessment, 30% might be for a group report and 10% for group presentations. 10% could be for multiple choice questions. Some lecturers will actually build it into their tutorials and so on. So you're accumulating points all the way through.
Yeah, for assignments, we have credits. Assignments for the class test, we have credits for that, which we normally don't have in India. That's the difference.
Also, the other day, Dennis and I were speaking about touching based on different topics like grading systems. So each one's strength is covered. So some might be strong in the reporting part, writing, whereas some are good at MCQs. So equal weightage is given to different subjects so that it is comfortable for different students, different type of students.
Yeah. So a good example of that would be, I know students coming from the US find it difficult to do essay type of assessment and exams. They want more black and white type questions, MCQs, 1 and 1 is 2 type of responses. So again, we're building, I suppose, on all the different strengths because everyone learns differently. So we try to do that: individual assessments, group assessments, written exams, multiple choice, group presentations, reflective journals, and so on.
Okay, so a lot of variety.
Yeah.
So we have another question that's just come in. Can students choose their own favorite programming language to finish assignments?
In terms of the group project, so you can, yes. I suppose we're giving you the building blocks throughout the year as a springboard for you to take on new skills, because when you go to industry, you will be expected to learn a new skill anyway. So I know Vernon, for example, spent his Christmas holidays learning a new program, and he's bringing that into his own capstone project. So yeah, we do encourage that.
Yeah, so I'm going to steal Dennis's quote from here in width and in depth. So he always says that every subject is supposed to be in width. That means you're supposed to have the basics of the entire concept, but you have to be in depth as well. You have to understand what it actually does. And that is what I think the business analytics program requires. You have to be covering in width and in depth of different domains. So while there are 4 programming languages, it is up to you if you want to learn any new language or if you want to go in depth in any one of those programming languages. Yes.
Yeah, for project we have chosen Python, and across the semester we did our Java, C#. For the assignments we have to, for the modules, the respective programming language, we have to do assignments on that. But for the project and for our own knowledge, we can choose our choice of programming language.
So the next section we'll move into here is special skills developed in class. So we've talked about programming languages, but this question is just, what were some of the most valuable skills that you learned in the classroom?
I would say I would give first preference to the soft skills, because technical skills we can develop at any time, but soft skill, it's really important. You have to have a stage for that. The presentation skills, we had workshops where we work with other people. We have to know how we communicate with people from different places and different types. So that was really important. And yeah, I think Manan will tell the rest.
Yeah, so initially when I came in, as I said, I did not have many soft skills, or at least I did not think they were very important, because coming from India, usually technical skills are preferred. You have jobs everywhere because outsourcing, right? So people value technical skills. They're usually in a job description you should have C#, Java, or any one of the programming languages, and yeah, it's up to that. So it's limited up to that. But here, coming to Ireland, most of job description ask you for curiosity, communication skills, different kind of back in India. So the measure which we had back in India was completely different in Ireland. I think Dennis gave me a very good what is the feedback at the start of the semester. I think it's better coming from him that you hear about it.
I hope that was positive feedback. Yeah, I suppose we find with a lot of students coming to Ireland that the biggest challenge for them is this idea of engagement within the classroom. So the old style of teaching where the lecturer stands and talks to you for 2 hours, we don't do that anymore. It's very much about dialogue. You're all bringing your own skills, experiences from work and life and so on. And we want to share those experiences because when we talk about a particular concept, maybe you've got that experience. So what's it like to work on a large team, small team? What's it like to work in a difficult project? So we want you to share those experiences. And it's a two-way dialogue, not just between the lecturer and the student, but also between your peers. So student-to-student engagement. So we build in lots of activities in the lecture hall to break up that 2-hour boredom. We know you're very busy, you get distracted quite easily, and we try to avoid that by having activities built into the classroom.
Also, we have a lot of societies, over 100 societies. So we have cricket societies for people coming from India, and then we have business societies. We have I can't even name them. There are so many.
Harry Potter Society.
Harry Potter Society, yeah. Almost whatever you can think of, there is a society name of that. So that encourages teamwork, leadership, handling the internal matters of a community. So I think it is very important to be a part of to have a passion for something.
This again ties in so nicely into the next question, which is tell me about some personal development opportunities.
Yeah.
I know we've already kind of covered this in terms of the soft skills.
Yeah. So for personal development, it's, as I said, there's a place for everyone in NUIG. So it doesn't have to be always educational. Maybe you want to go just hit the gym or go for a swimming class. So it is not just soft skill. You're not just concentrating on education, but on the overall development of a person.
Yeah. And I'd like just to echo that point that it's very important that when we talk about education, it's not just about education in terms of the lecture and the exam, it's about your professional and personal development. We find students that get involved in college from day one actually really enjoy that experience. I know for a fact that 2 students sitting here today are not 2 students I met last September. I think they're a lot more outgoing, a lot more confident. And everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses for improvement. So some people might get involved in a debating society, maybe a philosophical society, and so on. So you'll find new opportunities to explore. You might like photography, for example, and get involved in that society. And we know that employers like this. They want to see evidence of leadership, of teamwork. And this is how we actually demonstrate to employers in Ireland that you're a team player. Also being a class representative is very important, I think, for your own self. Yeah.
And I wanted to mention this. Here, we can actually take responsibility. Like back in India, it's either spoon-fed or it's not at all. We are not taken care of. Here, professors give the right amount of space so that we have to take responsibility for everything that we do. That's one important thing that I felt here.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Vernon and Jeshi, for being here today. And I'm going to send you off screen now, and we'll invite up Pamela from the careers office, who's going to have some advice for you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome, Pamela. Thank you
Hi,
for being
Pamela.
here today. So, Pamela, if you could introduce yourself to our viewers and just tell us a little bit about what you do here.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Pamela Devons and I work in the Career Development Centre. I am a careers advisor for the school, the College of Business, Public Policy and Law, and also the College of Engineering. So if you come to study here, I will be meeting with a lot of you because the Career Development Centre are the key point of contact to bring employers on site to meet with students, but also we have workshops and one-to-one appointments to support students transition from their studies towards successful careers. And just to pick up on what one of the students, I think it was Vernon, who said, you have the opportunity to shape your own destiny here. So we would work with the individual and connect them with employers, but it would be up to the individual to source that employment, but we create the opportunity through numerous events on campus.
Excellent. And Pamela, at what point should students start thinking about the careers that they're going to get after the course, or start looking for jobs?
Okay, that's a good question. I think sometimes when students arrive first, they're very anxious to start looking for a job straight away. But we find that for this, I suppose if we took business analytics as an example, many of the jobs become available kind of middle of semester 2, kind of towards the end of your studies. So in the Career Development Centre, we advise people to engage with employers and look at opportunities and see what's available. And then they'll be making the bulk of their applications closer to the end of their studies. That's when those graduate jobs seem to become available on the market. And of course, many people have experience coming, so they'll be bringing that experience to bear on their applications also.
And how many students would you typically see in your office, would you give kind of careers assistance to?
Okay, so the Career Development Centre run appointments daily, and over the course of the year, we have 4,000 one-to-one appointments, so we're very busy, and I suppose that goes down to about 100 a week, in term.
Yeah, so good. So students will have 100 opportunities every week to stop in and get careers advice.
Yeah, and just to say as well, during the week, each week, particularly in term, there would be numerous employer events and numerous employability workshops. So students can, one of the things, just to pick up on the question earlier about professional development, the Career Development Centre run an employability award. So which employers value, where you can develop different skills and attend career development workshops and get that employability award in addition to your studies.
And Dennis, actually, I have a question for you. From this course, what's the employment rate after graduation?
Within 6 months, we know from previous surveys with past students that 90% are in employment in the first 6 months. And that's in employment of their career choice. Sometimes students may not take up employment straight away for their family reasons, personal reasons, but usually within the first 12 months, they're all in full-time employment.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, but again, it comes down to how hungry are you to kind of show employers that, yes, I'm ready to work with you. These are skills I've developed, technical skills, business skills, teamwork skills, and so on. So it's really about that focus and learning to write the craft of a very good CV for employers in Ireland. So how people write CVs and resumes in the US and India might be very different, and it is very different. So you can't assume that anybody can write a CV. This is why we work very closely with the Careers Office.
And just to pick up on that, so there would be numerous opportunities to workshops and things to help you develop your CV. I ran 2 workshops specifically for the business analytics class, where we brought in some employers who outlined the skills that they were looking for, but also the roles that they would have in the future. But it really is up to you as an individual to get some support, but take ownership and control of making sure you've got a really strong CV. But the tools and the supports will be given to you to enable you to be able to do that and tailor your CV to the individual job that you're really interested in.
And I can say that from experience, because I did my postgraduate here and I had the Career Development Centre actually look at my CV and they made a lot of changes. So it's a fantastic resource, it really is. Another question is, when students are kind of getting to that point in the course where they're starting to apply, where should they be looking to find the jobs that are open to them?
Okay, so I suppose there's a number of different places that they can be looking. We find for graduate roles here in NUI Galway called Careers Connect, and it's the portal you would use to book an appointment with us, also to book a place at one of our workshops, but also any jobs coming in from our employers would be there. So that would be, I suppose, the first port of call. Then there is another national resource called Grad Ireland, gradireland.com. It would also have a lot of graduate roles. And then there are other websites, Indeed, places like that where a lot of roles with experience would be advertised. I find that many people doing this course have previous experience, so they will be able to leverage that in their job search.
Yeah.
And actually, just to add to Pamela's point there about, I suppose, that profile that you want to present to companies, we find a lot of students coming from particularly India. They're not on LinkedIn, they're not on Twitter. So if you want to say that you're a professional in the data analyst kind of space, you need to have that online presence. So from day one, start getting your Twitter profile up and running. Don't tell us what you had for breakfast. Tell us about the trends you're following, the companies who are talking about new products and so on. You're also on LinkedIn, a very professional profile. The first thing recruiters will do here is actually look at your online presence. Not so much on Facebook, but more so on LinkedIn and Twitter. A lot of the lecturers will push important information about analytics through Twitter, so it's important that you're aware of these trends. And the big companies, so don't just focus on the multinationals in Ireland. There are many companies, public sector, private sector, that are looking for graduates and those with experience as well.
Yes, and just to pick up on Dennis's point there, the Career Development Centre run LinkedIn workshops, and we've had a number of partnerships with different companies where you can get your LinkedIn headshot done and get some feedback on your LinkedIn account. So I guess the supports are there for the CV, the supports are there for interview and for LinkedIn. So, but again, it would be very much up to individuals to engage and avail of that support to make sure that they're ready. And just to pick up on the point on Twitter, at interview, it's very important to keep up to date on particularly analytics, because a lot of press releases and new product information will be coming down online through Twitter. So just to be, those are the things that could give you knowledge of that, give you the edge in the interview to show your interest and how you're keeping yourself up to date.
And just one other point is to be ready. Opportunities come in to our office. For example, last week we got a job offer information on Thursday. Students were informed that they wanted their CVs by Friday lunchtime, and that's how companies operate. This week, PepsiCo in Cork are looking for 17 data analysts. So that application process is open right now. The students here have been informed about it, so you need to be very quick. Sometimes we get just a random phone call from a company maybe in Dublin who's looking for a good business data analyst, and we just pick up the phone and ring us to say, look, can you recommend some students? So if we don't know you, we can't recommend you. So that's so important that you get involved and that we get to know you over the year.
Definitely true. So we'll move on shortly to our next section, which is having some of our students talk about their own career searches and career journeys. Would you like to make any kind of closing remarks, Pamela? Any final words of wisdom for our viewers?
Okay, I guess when you come to echo what other people have said, to engage with all of the various different supports, be they volunteering, be they sporting, societies, whatever it is. Also engage with Career Development Centre events. The Career Development Centre will, we put on a module to show students how to navigate the graduate recruitment market in Ireland. We'll put that on very early in your studies. I would say to engage with that, and We will outline all of the key timelines there for graduate recruitment, and if you engage with that, you will be fully aware and be able to settle into your studies and apply and be ready, as Dennis said, for the opportunities that will come down the road. The market is very buoyant for business analytics at the moment.
Excellent. So Pamela's someone who you'll all be getting to know when you're here in September and forward on throughout the year. So thank you so much, Pamela, for joining us today.
It was good to talk to you all. Thanks, Dennis.
So I'll invite our two other students now. We have Ankita and Raksid. Come on up. So if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves, please.
Sure. Hi, my name is Rakshit. I'm from India, and I have worked 3 years in the industry in business analytics area, and I'm currently working as a research assistant with Dennis and in Lero. Lero is Irish Software Research Center in NUIC.
Thank you. My name is Ankita, and I have total 6 years of experience in IT industry, working across domain before I came here. And I would like to add that before coming here, like many of the students in India would think that I was also in a dilemma where, like, whether to do or not to do. But I would like to add it that there's no limit in respect to the experience, and a person can join the course with any amount of experience, whether it's more or less, and everybody is welcome here. So on that note, I would like to congratulate everyone who had got an offer in NUIG, and it would be a great year. Thank you.
Wonderful. So the first question we have here is, what kind of jobs are available for business analytics students, and what companies have graduates found employment with? So maybe Dennis, would you like to kick off there?
Okay, so up on our website, you'll see tag cloud with names of different companies. And these are companies that employed students from last year. So national banks, for example, Bank of Ireland, the betting companies, so that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's all analytics for the betting companies. They're taking on graduates. Financial services companies, insurance companies. So there's a wide range of industries that actually recruit students. I suppose for me, it's important that you try to understand what industry do you want to work in. Do you want to work in financial services? Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to work in the public sector. So try to understand what industry you want to be established in, and usually that's the industry you stay in then for a number of years.
And just to add to Dennis's point, there are many jobs available at the moment in terms of analytics, and maybe if you're looking for any programming jobs, just you want to become a data scientist where you like too much technical things, and there are jobs available for that too. And in terms of business analytics jobs, I myself got a job last Tuesday, and I would be joining the firm shortly. And this based on the job role is based on the Tableau and data warehousing skills. And there are many other of my friends have also got a job already, and they're looking forward to join the company. So having said that, if I would like to say that there are jobs, but it doesn't mean that companies are looking forward to recruit any person that they come forward for the job. You need to have the right set of skills at the right time, and that's when you crack the job.
Yeah, that's good advice. Adding to Akshit's point, I would like to add that having said that there are multiple jobs and opportunities available, I believe that it's more with respect to the profile which a person wants to join and the right set of skill set. According to my experience, I had a very technical sort of an experience, but I now want to join something which is a techno function that I would want to enhance my skill set. So there are multiple jobs, but I think we need to focus on the kind of profile one wants, and rather than just hitting everywhere, one should hit at a specific point and we concentrate on the opportunities because it can come at any time. So yeah, one should be prepared for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great advice. So the next one we have here is it difficult to get jobs in Ireland? Well, what do you think?
I would say it's not difficult,
okay,
but it's not easy. So you need to put in efforts. So I would like to share my experience with this. I used to apply jobs. I know I had one CV. I used to apply for every job role, and the next day I used to get an email. Thank you very much. So you are being not successful to the next round. That's something that I learned over the years. We all learn with our mistakes, and there are people like Dennis and like you see Pamela. They all advise us and guide us where we are going wrong, and they advise in the right direction. So based on the feedback, I started tailoring my CV according to the job requirement. The process, it's not that you come in, you pitch in, and you apply, you get it. No, it's a gradual process. You learn where you're going, what mistakes are you committing, and then you grow with it.
I would like to add to Rakshit's point that every job application in Ireland needs tailoring of the CV, and it's just not tailoring; it is actually understanding what the requirements are specific to that particular job in which we are applying. And we rather, have to be very specific and knowledgeable in terms of what we are writing in the resume. It's not that I write that I have an experience in statistical modeling and I don't have actually, if in case. So it's not showing what the other person want, but being aware of what you have, and then tailoring it in a way that other person could understand it, because it's just 2 or 3 minutes a person will be able to see your CV, and to fake it is not the right way to go. So yeah, there are many job opportunities, but a lot of work is to be done before you get there. So for that, in NUIG we have Career Center, which is an excellent way of approaching the jobs, and they help us in every way possible to tailor the CV in a way that a person understands what would be the um, thought process of the person who would be reviewing the CV actually. Because when we apply to job applications, I believe is we just think from the perspective of a person just wanted to get into the role, but it's actually very important to think in a holistic view and then apply so that you know where you are missing. So yeah, that's what my experience is. So, yeah.
No, Rachid said it's competitive. It's difficult to get a job. That's because you're competing not just with your classmates, but also with other universities in Ireland. So standards are very high here across all the universities. Employers want the best. They're going to pay you high salaries with lots of bonuses and benefits. So they want to make sure you're the right fit. So don't take it personal if you don't get a job offer. Sometimes it's just your personality or your profile is not the right fit for that type of company. So again, it's about understanding what kind of company do you want to work with. Do you want to work with a large company, a small company, and so on. We know there are companies like Primerica based in Donegal. They have a huge data analyst facility up there. They actually have internships now for students across Ireland to actually apply to a 3-month internship, and then you make a job offer afterwards. And that's usually one way to find out how do you fit with the company. We know the companies around Galway, there's a big ecosystem. Medtronic, for example, is another medical device company that's actually taking in students. And it's not just international students who find it difficult or competing for jobs, it's all students. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. They just want to make sure that you can stand up from the crowd and you can actually deliver on quality. And that's what it's really about.
Yeah. We actually had a question earlier that I forgot to ask, which is, are there any internships during the course?
No, so with the full-time masters, it's full-time, so it's very full-time. So we don't incorporate internships. But what we do is actually get you in front of as many companies as possible. So we bring companies in to meet you. The group projects, for example, you may choose to use an open data set from the data, from the statistical office, for example. Or you actually may work with a company like Rachid is doing at the moment, working on a real case data set for a company and analyzing their data. So that's one way to demonstrate to potential employers that, you know what, I've come to Ireland, I'm now working on a real data set for this company as part of the group project. That's again evidence that you can integrate well into a new culture, not just the culture of Ireland or NUIG, but also understand the culture of that company that you're working in. So again, we'll be dealing with business people who will be C-level management, people talk about innovation, strategy, and so on. If you don't have that terminology, you won't be able to engage with them. But we're trying to encourage more and more students to take these data sets and engage with companies. And we will support you as much as we can to get access to these companies.
Then just put it in simple words as it's a very full time, but the program is full time, but you have to work overtime, to catch up with the competition. It's not really like we had it in India. Okay, the tuition time's done, go home, run, or do some other things. And it's not in the students, and I get inspired by professors. In fact, Dennis was working on St. Patrick's Day, and that's a big thing, and that keeps us motivating. And the way they prepare the slides in order to teach us every day in the class, that's fantastic, that's phenomenal. So it's not only, as Dennis said, there's no more old school teaching here. It's more of a dialogue where professors bring in some ideas, they leave you with a thought to think.
Excellent. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, what is the starting salary for graduates?
It all depends, I guess.
Yeah.
But from my experience, I have seen the graduate roles being around starting from 30, 35, if I'm not wrong, and it goes up as per your experience. But once you get into here, I'm sure that you will have an aim in your thought in your mind that I should be getting this, and this. But gradually, I think it keeps changing, because with the knowledge that you have and the things that you want to do in the future, you would always look for the job profiles rather than just looking at the salary percentage. So I would rather put in this way than saying, okay, I want these cap jobs, or I want these skills to develop, because these are the skills that industry is looking forward to.
Yeah.
And also, the start salary will vary. So, for example, in Galway, cost of living is not as expensive as Dublin, but then to live in Donegal is much cheaper again. So, 35,000 starting salary in Donegal is very good. A 45,000 salary in Galway or Dublin is very good too. But also, it's not just the base salary that companies give to you. They'll give you annual bonus, health insurance, pension schemes, and many other perks along the way. Okay, share options, for example, in some companies. So it's not just about the base salary, but also, I suppose, what Rashid said there, don't just look at and limit yourself to the salary. If you want to get into this company, you'll do whatever it takes to get into that company. And once you're in the door, you'll climb the ranks very quickly.
I would like to what Dennis just mentioned. What my experience here was, there's no limit as such to the salary bracket. If the employer sees that the person is capable, they are actually ready to change their bracket and give you more than what you think. Also, on the contrary, if you apply for X position and if they think you are good fit for Y position, they will help you and tell you that what you can apply to this thing. So that's what my experience was when I applied to one of the organization. So there's no as such A to B limit which applies to the it just differs from organization to organization.
Can you maybe tell me a little bit about what the application interview process is like when you're trying to get a job?
Yeah, this is a really extensive, intensive interview process. It's not just they call you over and ask you the basics of, okay, how to use our program and what are the syntax that you know. No, it's not like that. In my case, I had an interview for straight 5 hours, so which involved 3 different tests. Testing my programming skills, testing my data analytics skills, and testing my business skills. And before that, I had telephonic interview for around 30 to 45 minutes. And then post that, I had a psychometric test. And all this will happen during the exam week. So as Janice said, you need to be prepared when the opportunity comes. And if you say that, no, let the opportunity come and then I start preparing for myself, it's not going to work out that way. So that's ideally companies will have something like a whiteboard test where they test your skills and whatever you have, and that's really pretty much on whatever things that you have mentioned on your CV.
I would like to add to what Rakshit said. I was more applying for experience roles, and what my experience was, all the past work which I have done and how that was related to what I have learned in NUIG with respect to the courses which I had. So more questions were with respect to how the skills were mapped and what there were multiple scenarios they gave me, like how a person would behave in this scenario or how the scenarios where situations and we're tackling people, team management skills and all. And then there was a separate section where my technical skills were being asked for. And so I was asked how much I rate myself. And then there was different set of questions only on the technical lines. So by far it was different channels, one on the business line and then on the technical line, and then there was an HR interview. So for me, it was more of divided into three. That's how it went for me.
Okay. And do you feel like the course business analytics left you well prepared for that?
Yeah, actually, there were. I would like to add that the business related course which we have in NUIG, it's just amazing, because I remember sitting in decision theory and in analyzing all the strategies and models in which actually this industries have been growing, and how a strategist would think, which applying the goals and missions, and that actually helped me to correlate with the work which I had done, and in a way why these situations arise. If I have to work for X assignment, then I could actually correlate how it would lead to the next arriving situation, or what the pros and cons would be of that assignment. So I believe for me it worked really well, having a good gel of business and technology, and excellent.
And also, I suppose, just be aware that some companies here may only advertise for one position, but they might receive 50 CVs. But they keep these CVs, so maybe you were not successful first time round, but they keep the CV. So when they do grow their division more, their analytic capabilities, they actually have a pool of CVs ready to go. So we've been told this by different companies in different industries. So it's very important that you do, I suppose, submit your best CV. Because if you don't submit a good CV, you won't get called for an interview. But don't lose faith if you actually don't get the job first time round. That company may contact you in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, even a year from now. Even last week, we had a company that interviewed 7 students, and they're actually now creating another position based on the caliber and experience that they've had with those students.
Fantastic. Yeah. Great. So, does anyone have any last remarks regarding careers?
I think you just have to come here and start your shop. At the moment, you guys should enjoy your time in India and US or any part of the world you're currently based in. And there are people like professors and career development center who are going to push off your limit and ask you to stretch yourself in order to develop you the skills required for the industries. So it's time for you to relax, because there's it's a famous saying that winter is coming in Game of Thrones. So like the semester is going to start in September, so brace yourselves.
I would like to add what Rakshit said, by saying that one should come with a clean slate, because if there's already something in your mind going on, it might actually help in cases, but in cases it would not. So one must unlearn everything and just come here and take as much as is available, and there's a lot to learn and a lot to work when you come here. It's an extensive program, and it gives no time to actually for self
for lazing around.
Yeah, one must be keen every time, and I would just wish everybody best of luck, and just enjoy your time in India.
I suppose for me, my advice would be to be yourself first of all. Be true to the career path that you want to follow, and don't follow the crowd. But also just be aware that there's huge support here for you. Not just with career development and get through your lectures and so on, but we know a year is a long time to be away from home. You might be homesick, you may encounter some family difficulties or personal challenges. There's huge support there for you. We have our own dedicated student advisor in the business school for business school students. We have great counseling services here, pastoral services, and so on. So if you're struggling, let us know. Talk to a friend, get your friend to talk to us, and also use the class reps when you come here. They'll talk to us as well. So just be aware that there's huge support for you in all aspects of your life.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm just going to close up with a couple of general questions. So one question is, when are we expected to arrive? So mid-August is when we recommend getting here, because that way you'll be well settled in by the time orientation comes around, so you'll be able to really get the most out of that. Let's see, and when will scholarships be announced? A lot of people have been asking this. The International Affairs Office will be announcing them this month, so keep an eye out, they will be in touch. So once again, I'd like to say congratulations to all of you for getting your offers, and thank you all for joining me today, those both off screen and on. It's been wonderful.
Bye, everyone.